He's getting closer and closer. It's like...
He's scary, but...
a red light, green light.
What is scary is the possibility of Fnatic right now. They're still not playing with a full strength. They finally found, after a very long time, some solidity. Fnatic finally had a roster that was performing well. They had a team that was bringing things together. Mentalist is injured. Things start to fall away from them, and they play Shallow 4 times in a row.
Yeah, 4 times in a row. It's not something we do see often, and it also started to go the wrong way, as you can see in the win-loss last play days there. 2 losses now. Mantis might have saved them with just the insta-ban on Chalet. Decided that, you know what, it's enough. You're going to go to a different map now. Even though you have been losing on the previous one, the 2 previous times you have played there. Either way, bans have completed. Nomad, Hibana, Mira and Valkyrie. Of course, the Hibana on bank, very strong considering the hatch plays on the bottom floor. Mira as well to set up a little bit extra towards that server below. But we've also seen it come to good use down in open area. Even on the top floor, using that long desk as a good example.
Now, if we've only seen Chalet from Fnatic, we have seen Bank from Mantis, and we've seen them win it. We saw them took it well. I think it was 3-3 on their attacks, and then they locked it off on their defenses.
Yep.
They were strong on the turn of the half, and then they were able to just kind of cruise the rest of the game to a 7-3 win, if I recall correctly. And that's one of the things now is this a question of, are we going to see them a little bit more tested now, because they've had some of their defenses put onto the main screen as Fnatic expect themselves. They would have known, as we knew, Chalet wasn't going to be the map that they got to play, because it is an insta-ban for Mantis. It was never going to get through. I mean, okay, there's a 1% chance, but if a team loads the map that much, they're not just going to pull it out to try and send a team to it for the 5th time in a row. It would have been.
That would have been something. I'm not sure if we've ever had one team play the same map just every single play day in a stage. That would have been something else. Either way, yeah, Fnatic up against Mantis here. For Mantis, a important match because Guts left some point behind. That means that if Mantis are able to take the full-fledged win here, they distance themselves by 3. Only to be regained, of course, to next play day, where Guts have the opportunity to go up against Mantis. But that does mean that if Mantis pick up that singular point in that game, they should be able to stick ahead. Fnatic, on the other hand, well, they are in a relegation fight now. It seemed like suddenly got back into that, especially with Talon just equalizing the score a little bit with the win over Fav. But they're also still in the running for the playoffs. They are currently on 6 points, with Damwon close behind on 5. That does mean that they need to make sure they're picking up some points here today to at least solidify themselves a little bit.
Getting their way open, it's Envy Taylor that actually opens things up as Kanto pops. Lusty is the first off the board. Obviously a tricky situation for anyone to come in. 2 stepped in for this play day and the previous one so far because Mentalist is injured, unable to play.
I'd love to see him play on his bed though. It looked
there was
interesting
this amazing photo he put as a setup where, because there was some difficulties in, more difficulties for the rest of Fnatic, he almost had to play kneeling on his bed, which would have been a world first. But no, he can rest, he can watch. But as I was saying, it's tricky for Lusty because you find yourself in the middle of a season and you find yourself joining a team that was fighting near the top. They're on a bit of a downswing when you arrive, and you still got to try and keep that pace and keep that mentality. Tough games ahead of you. This one, Mantis, with the result for Guts earlier, they have a chance to get to the top of the board and have a little bit of a distance there, so they know that there's a big importance in them taking these points.
See, and Fnatic was doing quite alright as well. They managed to pick up 3 wins and a loss until they had to swap out, which is now 2 losses, of course, which makes it a little bit unfortunate for them. Wanted to, of course, hold on to that pressure, but in the meantime, they are inside of the archives, and Alfama tries to go down for the plant. Tex gets the first kill, 4-4. It's going to be the trade, however, to come through. Actually, between Nova and Tex itself, it's a 3-on-3 post-plant situation. Mag, Styx, and Alfama all inside of the bomb site.
So this is the point, excuse me, that I was sort of trying to bring together here is, are we going to see Fnatic punish the Mantis holds? Because they've had an example of them. The spray on the first and the firefight goes through. There's 2 more inside the archives. That'll be the reveal in the pop round. Shael drops off the back stairs. FNC gets one more. 2 versus 1. Alfama's caught in the pillars, though. And it's the lock-off of Shayal and FNC. 2 players who had a huge game in the previous playdate as well. 2 of the players that drove Mantis to the success on Bank, and 2 of the players that have opened this up with a success of their own.
So FNC and Shao, also basically the dynamic duo back when they were under Cloud9, just really raining terror inside of APAC, making sure that everybody who they met was going to be dealing with either of them. Mantis leads 1-0, a one-dimensional post plant, you can almost call it. Every single one of them inside, or I believe maybe one we had below, but the actual teller's there, and you know, at that point, the defenders need to go that way anyway, so we're just able to pick them up one by one, win out on the gunfights, and win out on the round in the end.
It was good from Fnatic. They saw an option. They saw a possibility. They saw a chance to punish the potential of a hold. It was a gap in the market, and they tried to move in, and they almost found some success, but they found themselves isolated. And that's that problem, is all 3 of them were then sort of stuck on that wall. Sure, Alfama hopped to the other side to see if he could get a bit of a stretch on the bottom of square. He was looking for another way to hold it, because if all 3 of them would have been there, with Mantis still having the control of the top of square, and with their ability to then go down the main white stairs and try and put some pressure back from the other side, they were a bit cornered. And a little bit more width, maybe a rotation. It's the risk of a fast plant and push, is you don't have those outs, those ins, those angles that you can utilize in a moment like that.
Now, we have to say, tellers and offices is a bomb site we do not see very often on this map, at least inside of Europe. It was the first one to be played, instantly won. That means we're going downstairs now. A site that more teams are familiar with. Not that much has actually changed on the rework of Bank. Just the 2 hatches on the western side have changed from the tellers area to the open area, and the elevator as well, which has extended a little bit. Now, that gives you a second opportunity to go for an attack, but we do still see most of the attacks and most of the takes come down from the server side, which is still relatively the same.
Mag is trying to build on the success of the sneaky plays before. The beepers will give some motion away if someone's close, but it's actually static. Yet again, finds the opener here. Stigs, the Jackal's off the board. So is an alibi. The Nook's been able to creep their way all the way across. That'll get called, and Taylor is paying all the attention that he needs to and heeds to as the Nook starts to drone just on the other side. Holding off for now and hoping she swings a bit wide with Nova holding the split. They are entirely surrounding Mag, so either way out is going to be a fight unless they go back the way they came, but you don't want to hand that land up. You're just buying some time for the rest of your team to move up.
Mute Gemmer close to that door as well means Mag is not able to use the Hell or move in, and then gets shut down by FNC, who just checks back on the corner, spots one in Janitor, tries to go for the gunfight. Pressure comes in from above as well. No Nitro available, but a lot of damage will be done onto Lusty, who only managed to open up twice so far and is still trying to work on getting the Teller's control. Hoping to find a challenge as well, but FNC, he knows how to play the patient game here, trying to dance around all these verticals to be created.
Those mute jammers are very well placed. You've got to remember that this is a basement site. They're holding as much time as possible just above it in the middle, the core and the crux. Tex finally finds FNC. And one more. Lusty over the top, gets Shayal. There's still a body at the top of the blue stairs that can pull back. Last we saw Nova, he was playing around green as well, so they've got 2 aggressive holds over the staircase. The concern there is the hatch was soft, so Nova's actually pulled himself back a little bit closer. Harper is going to do the same. With a minute on, there's still a lot of time now for Fnatic to play a quick sweep. And the pair of kills is something that's driven them to a much better situation and position now, but with Lusty quite injured, a single canister could do a lot more damage than it could have done before.
Yeah, definitely will. Now Fnatic need to decide what they want their push to look like, and hatches not being done at all gives them free opportunity to open up. Grenades are being tossed in, but the players are very far back. However, we'll give them a bit of an idea where the push seems to be coming from. Tax, well aware, starts opening up the second hatch just to create an opportunity to head into red, into Gold Vault, as smokes keep on being tossed out towards the default plant spot.
That's it. They're going to have to take a drop and try and fight their smokes. With only 15 seconds, unless they push through the smoke, it's going to be a bit of a fight. The spray over the top doesn't quite connect. A hold on the door, though. Tex does there. 4-1, looking for a 5th. Dropped on the split. Another canister pops off. Alfama has found a new place to plant because the default was just a little bit covered. Looks for the kill over the cover. The spray comes against them. Lusty locks it off. And they took the drop, took the round, took the duel back.
And they did manage to bring it back there. The smoke blocking his vision, really blurring out that sledge in that position. Allowed him to get the jump on him, and that means we are still tied. Fnatic with their first attack in round 1. CEO executive launch is coming up next. All the way up to the top floor we go. We see 3 Heartbreachers on the side of Fnatic. We do see the Thermite, Maverick, and the Ace. Of course, want to open up as much as you possibly can, but the Clash now coming out as well on the side of Mantis.
Eyes on Tex right now, because Tex is a player that either has a fantastic day or a bad day. There's not really been a lot of middle ground games for Tex recently. He's an all-in player, but when he's all in, it works so well. And these sort of holds from Mantis, where they're exploring the map, they're big, they're wide, there's open hatches, there's paths for Tex to find his way through. That's 100% something that's going to play into his style, his aggression, and his way of moving around the map. And then you're looking at the pace that Mag's applying. Sure, they've lost the opener twice in a row, but 2 plants over 2 rounds, being able to read the weakness of the Mantis holds and put the pressure onto them, 100% something that they can build behind here, Fnatic.
Softball being left here. That is probably going to be opened up by any of the shotguns available. Yes, Nova has the opportunity to do so. Allows for the long angles to be played down onto the top of the square. And that also is a form of, well, counter breach, you can almost say. No bandit, no mute to do that exactly. Mute's still on the board, of course, but most likely will be used as counter intelligence. No, you just try and take them down if they want to go for the challenge on it.
Will they be able to go 3 for 3 in terms of getting that entry kill here, as Mantis sort of playing a bit of a patient game. Harper isn't. He's waiting for somebody to head to the top. Nobody is in that tight of a position. They have the drones in the cover. It's going to be an upside down rappel to see if they can get an angle just towards that little office on the banana. There's a jiggle and a dance and a spray, and Harper suffers more than Mag does, who does not at all. A quick trip round to Thunderbird gets them a little bit more healed up, and with no one else able to apply pressure as of yet, well, they're just going to try and use that to bring some stretch to the hold. It's Nova, though. Once again, gets the opener twice in a row. Stiggs is gone, and the Jackal won't have an impact.
Yeah, won't be able to get any of these scans out to try and find the roamers. Of course, not a very heavy roam setup we're currently seeing from Mantis here. But with 2 minutes left on that clock and a man down on that top floor, you really need to make sure that the remaining members do their job and do them well, because otherwise you're not going to be able to open up. And talking about opening up, we do see some of the Fnatic members trying to rotate around. They need to get to the top of square. Of course, Alphama being ready into a position where he can go for a plant, and surely soon we do see the Candelas of Mag being tossed in. However, Nova is currently the one, well, danger to this whole plan, able to hold off both these windows as the first smokes are being tossed in.
That's it. They're going to cover his eyes. You can see that they have the C4 prepped. The Candela's over the top with Static being the problem. Beautiful. The C4! Perfectly timed there. The audio cover wasn't quite covering off Envy Taylor with the swing, but Banana becomes a bit of a split sight here as Mag is suddenly under pressure from the Clash on the other side. Concerned about the swing round from the corridor itself. Is going to try and retake, or at least hold some of Kanto. No. Slips their way through, sees a sliver of somebody. That'll give a bit of audio to them if they were listening. The punch inside and on the corner, just holding close here as Static suffers with one of the grenades. Lusty's trying to do as much on the windows to draw some attention. But with 45 seconds, well, unfortunately not enough. Shael swings round, takes the first fight. Mag gets one back. You can see all 3 of them try to set themselves up. The fight goes either side of the vending machines. The Clash has shown up to cause some problems on the long desk. The only thing that is being studied in this office is pain, as Mantis get the second.
Yeah, managed to get the second there. Well played. Good call from Nova as well. You heard the shotgun go off when he got smoked on his angle, and I was like, okay, that is just to open up the angle to get the nitro far enough over the desk. So good and quick thinking from him there. Able to stop Alphama. With that, able to stop the sneaky plant from happening, which could have been held by the post plant. Of course, it would have still been tough. A single run out would have been able to completely decimate them up there, because the wall wasn't open up. There was nothing you could do from top square to stop the plant if it would have gone down, and that would have basically left us in the same situation as round 1, where they had the plant down but just no post plant to play with.
Couple of sixth pick, couple of changes. The Echo is obviously off the board for the Mozzie. That slight difference in mobility, but also, most importantly, pulling intel and information out of Fnatic's game. If they catch a newly acquired Twitch drone, well, that'll be a big bonus. But the main thing that we've got to remember is how quick Fnatic were to read the halt and find a way to punish it. How they were able to just slip their way through and take the plant on the inside of the square. Hop in towards the archives. It was well put together. And that's what that Mozzie is going to try and fix there. If they can try and take some strength out of the intel game and the start of Fnatic's approach.
Interesting setup here on the ADSs, right into the janitor door. And you see this shield on the back of it. Sometimes we do see it played on the front, but, you know, the skylight has changed a little bit. I believe you can only hold down from south to north now, instead of from north to south as well. Either way, it allows you to try and challenge a little bit more effectively onto the top of square, which could be one of those entry points. You just have to be careful that none of the Fnatic members try and take stock control and take you from the back from there on. But even if that will be the case, you still have plenty of time to rotate out or try and at least respond to it, as that's a Twitch drone card by Mag. From Mag, that will definitely be helpful. Nova will take this with a lot of pleasure, I can assume.
I mean, as I said, it might get caught, and it instantly was. Obviously, it was 2 sixth picks there, and one has definitely come out on top of the other. A new toy for Nova to play with, but it's not the be-all, end-all, and make-all. There's the rest of the drones trying to find their way up to see if they can get a little bit more control. Obviously, they lost this opening firefight. Lusty was putting the pressure on the windows, but got locked off here. With a little bit of a backup and a little bit of support, they're going to see if they can double down, try and take more vertical support. As I said before, them getting the plant down was good, but the pace that they did it meant they didn't have the options to watch it from other locations, like above or like out in open, so it led them to be a little bit gunned down. Here, they're making sure that mistake doesn't happen again. A very different push in that they're going for the full top control, but they have all 5 players, so they may as well make it work. Stiggs drives his way around and sees the top of a red cap, but Static pulls back.
Shao playing around the corner as well, takes out one of the drones. At least they know he's here now, trying to go aggressive. A player passing the shield will be able to pick up the kill there. Here's the trade to come through. Lusty drops, Stiggs goes aggressive, knows one is inside, takes his life as well. Shao stays alive, goes for the third. There he goes, that's the kill. Alfama drops. And Shao with a great triple kill, will be fully flushed now, but I think the pressure has died down a little bit. Mag repelling up right now, trying to salvage whatever is left together with Tex as it just goes into the top floor.
I mean, it was good positioning from Shile, but he was able to pull 3 1v1s out of what is less than about 5 feet of square real estate there, and the pressure was just something he kept on adding. Mag almost suffers there, takes a lot of damage, but with the damage already dealt to Shile, is able to lock it off, find at least some vengeance for the 3 fallen players, and recollect the diffuser. 45 seconds though, and there's still a couple more to go through. A C4, I think, is just pre-placed from Nova, but it doesn't matter because Tex is there, is able to gun the kill, get it, and put them into a 2 versus 2. They're quite separated though, so it's time to do some recon, see if they can work out where each other is, and I guess the response from Mantis.
Yeah, it's going to be dangerous, that's for sure. Great play by Shao. There comes the kill. It's a trade. It's now a one-on-one situation. Tex, the last man standing, has some verticality to play with, but nothing too much. Decides to drop the hatch. That could give away some valuable information to Static, who believes is holding the corner if he tries to move up and past the elevator. But I think Tax has broken off contact here. He's inside Teller's trying to figure out if he's inside, and now he's giving away the game. That will be Static just holding out. And Mantis taking the round win here after a great effort from Shao and a good trade on that top floor, turning it into a 1v1.
That's it. I mean, it was a lot of the work from Shao there. A trade kill is obviously the bane of online play, and it goes against Fnatic this time round because we never really know how those things could play out. But either way, you're still playing the hand that you're dealt. And Mantis, they play themselves a bit of space. 3-1. They have at least an even half on their defense, but they still have a couple more chances to see if they can extend that before they find themselves on the attack, because we still have the possibility of Fnatic's defense, which we know can be so good and is even better when we get a first taste of it because they're so creative.
It will be even better, you hope. Currently, they have 1 round. Jess just mentioned they are overall on the attack side of the team over the past year. So let's hope they have something very good up them sleeves for the defense here. Because we know, for example, from Chalet, they like to be very mobile. They like to literally play an onion game. To those of you who get confused by it, it is literally just peel off layer by layer, or let the attackers rather peel off layer by layer from your defense by setting up so many like mini power positions you can set in, and of course fall back as soon as the pressure gets a bit too hot. 10 seconds left before the action phase starts, and it will be again mantis still on the defense, still have 2 more rounds to set up and expand their lead over Fnatic for now. And we are in open area, so not really going down to the bottom floor yet once more.
Now keeping themselves a bit of a stretch, I guess hoping to bait a play style, and you know, they know that Fnatic can be an adaptive attacking team, and you're always trying to keep them guessing because they're a very quick learner as an attacking and as an aggressive entity here. A bit of a clear, and the pickup of the Lion is going to be the hope to control some of the place there again. As I said, a very adaptive team. They've been trying Candelas, they've been trying Lion now. Jackal still hasn't really had the effect of the success that I guess you'd want. We've unfortunately seen Stiggs go off the board quite early. A couple of rounds, and I guess we're waiting to see if they can get a bit of a mantle. Shyle almost suffers. The spray that comes through from the big windows, he's able to at least slip away.
It's a player in the garage, wasn't it? Yeah, Mag, he's quite close. I was going to say, he spots out the player there. Looked like he was going to be able to pick up that kill. E1D pops off. That's just a free kill to come through. Shah had no clue he was spotted there, and that is going to be the Oryx out of play, and will be followed up with Stiggs picking up a kill into Harper.
Now, for the first time, we're really getting a stretch of Fnatic putting the pressure here onto Mantis. 2 kills, no response, and that's going to put them in a bit of a tricky situation. There's the first battle back, though. Stiggs goes down. Another E1D just to buy themselves a second and make sure that there's not more pressure put back onto them, and buy themselves a little bit more control of the pace as the pressure starts to come in from the quick hop on the open window. Nova's going to open up a bit of a stretch, an extension towards the hop-in to make sure that if anyone tries to do a sneaky plant, as they've already demonstrated that they can this game, then they'll be watched as Mag goes for a bit of clarity on this backside. Sure, Mantis are a little bit hands-off at the minute, but that doesn't mean that they're entirely out of the water.
Bit of a self-flash there from Mag, tries to take control of open area now, and she just saw just Nova inside there trying to hold on for this side, trying to hold on to whatever they have left on the defense, and as Mag is sneaking himself in further and further, is just Envy Taylor left now inside of the archives. Is he going to be able to go for a clutch here? Gives away his position as Alphamas starts to plant. Soon, 45 seconds will be on that clock. Is he going to be able to make this clutch stick?
More flashes, more ideas, more grenades, and more ground from Fnatic. They pull themselves back. They set themselves up with some angles, and Envy Taylor, well, they're well aware of where he is, so he may as well pre-fire some angles and see if he can get a catch before he goes for the take. The first pings come on the bottom of the square. The battle around the pillars is not an easy one to take, but it's more time just wasted. Doesn't really matter if they lose this fight. There's a man now on the other side. Great take against Tex there, as Envy Taylor is just, again, stuck in the middle of a room. They pull back. They know that they can just sort of hold themselves closer towards the diffuser and the site itself. Fnatic, once again, were able to read a hole and a hold and try and find a way to break through it. They had some control, and they could still battle themselves back for an even split.
Yeah, well played to Dan. That means it's 3-2, as you just said. One more round in, and is Fnatic going to be able to get this draw, this equalizer on the board here before they go over to the defense themselves? And let Mantis have a go at their defenses. Of course, the only thing Fnatic has shown so far was Chalet, nothing else over this stage. So relatively unknown ground here for Mantis to go up against Fnatic. This clash being brought out by Static, going up to the top floor again. Are we going to see the Ying again? We're going to see a line, something else. Mag is thinking about the 6-pick. No, it's a Twitch to come through. All right. It's going to be helpful to try and take care of some of that utility. Just don't try and get it caught by a pest again, which this time, luckily for him, is not on the board.
Now, the last time we were here, we saw the attempt with Candelas. We saw an attempt of smoking off the rotation, and it was a very well-placed and timed C4 that actually brought some of the success background into the favor of Mantis. Will they be able to have an extension, or are we going to see what we just saw from Fnatic? Growth, learning, demonstration of their abilities that we've talked about of being able to read play. Again, we haven't seen them on Bank because we've only ever seen Fnatic on Chalet. They can't get enough of the slopes, but Mantis we've seen, and they were able to take 3 on their attack before going to their defense to lock it out 7-3. So, Fnatic, if they get an even half here, statistically are in a pretty good position.
Yeah. especially on the map like Bank. 4 rounds is basically what you're looking for onto your defense. Mantis has 3 at this very moment, so need to find one more. And again, we do see this aggressive peek from Harper, something that almost got punished the last time around, and his mag is trying to get into a position on the upside down rappel to try and challenge out once more. The question is, will we see success or do we see pain to come through for Fnatic?
Well, that's it. Mag is the one that's going to take the fight. He's just opted for a slightly different position and location as Tech's eyes up Kanto, but unfortunately it won't be able to find a slick way through as of yet. The steady Twitch drone is going to wear its way up to see if there's a mute jam or anything on the wall. There is, and ADS is too, and now that clears up Kanto to be popped open, so they have that long sight line down that back vein, the artery, that pumps all the life into the hold. More of a spray, more of a danger, and more of a dabble and a dance of an upside down rappel, but as long as the fight happens on this front desk, no one has quite been connected yet.
First grenade will be pulled. Lusty trying to get it in near to Harper will deal a little bit of damage, but nothing to worry about. Harper, of course, has the opportunity to heal himself and overheal himself with the Kona station and decides to do so. More pressure to come down from the Twitch, however. Just trying to put down some damage as Nova drops. That's going to be a very important kill. That might even be the call for Fnatic that it is time to go and set for the execute.
That's it. That's the take on the back line, the C4 that again really brought some of that round and stopped the push of Fnatic dead in its tracks. Envy Taylor, he's playing a bit of an aggressive game. He's hoping to put some pressure and fear onto the man holding the square windows, seeing if they catch them on the rotation around the opposite side. Harper is next to follow. Mag finally finds the fight and the bait and is able to drop down and get himself rotated round. They've been able to yet again get this double body buffer, the one that led them to the success on the previous round. Envy Taylor, he's causing problems, or at least wanting to. And that's the thing right now, is we've seen them try and do this play and wait and hold on it a bit too long, not actually able to make anything connect. Looked away at the worst time, and as I talk about the folly of that sort of hold, we see it in action.
We'll see it in action soon. Mag already inside the B-bomb side as we speak. The smokes are coming out. That means that the plant will be coming in soon. Alphamag gets down, however, but Mag gets a beautiful headshot. Turns it only up to Envy Taylor and Shala. Shala also goes down. Mag in a very important position here. Now is the question, where is Envy Taylor? Is he going to be able to clutch this out? There's only 25 seconds left in the clock. It's not enough time to just take care of the diffuser, which just has been picked up. Stigs deciding to go for the plant now, and Envy Taylor just quickly dancing around here on Banana. Looking to go towards Kanto, able to maybe pick up one. Yes, gets one, goes for 2, finds that one. Not! Actually, it's Mag with that final kill, but a great round from him. But can have 4 kills in total, I believe.
It's just that moment, isn't it, where we so almost saw Envy Taylor drop.
Pick up Mag. Yeah.
After the first kill, and you think Mag then creeps up the spiral stairs and then gets a 3K inside at the top to add to the one that he got on the opener. It would have entirely dictated a different round, and that's sort of, I'm going to say the luck, it's the way that the coin landed for Mantis a lot, is they would go for these holds elsewhere, and sure, it's great read from Fnatic to push that initiative. It's something a lot of teams wouldn't do, especially when you're up against a team like Mantis that's in a great stead.
Yeah.
But it's that risk, because it just takes one mistake like that, and you know, we see it punished in that same way.
Not even that, but just the early loss of Nova, that was the true damage dealer, really. As soon as he drops there, suddenly you lose that counter defusal utility of that Nitro, and the player in there that can just try and challenge whoever repels up. And unfortunately, that turned into a Fnatic round for Mantis, so Fnatic now onto the defense themselves. Instantly going down to the bottom floor. The Monty is being swapped out, becomes a Yana. The Rook becomes a Cade, just to keep those hatches closed, or try at least. Of course, the Maverick is on the board, so might not last long. Should just quickly dance around it with that blowtorch. It's enough to open it up. Let's see how Fnatic's defense will hold. Mantis, they played the bottom floor once, instantly lost it against them, and decided to just not go there again, and understandably so, because they, you know, okay, I don't know what the setup there exactly was, but none of the hatches were reinforced. They try to go for, as you said, a top-down take, try to waste as much time as possible, but fail to actually go and rotate down, because Fnatic just all over that place. And this is a very different sight you would hope to see now. I think Fnatic is going to be reinforcing more of these hatches to let them actually work for getting the control into the actual sites.
So it's the two sort of competing statistics right now, as you and Jess mentioned, that Fnatic are generally better on their attacks at the minute, but Bank we're seeing have a lot of success on the defense. You've still got questions being posed, people are still developing ways to find answers for them, so it's still really up in the air of how this might be able to pull itself together. I will say the sharpness of Fnatic and their control in the roam has been something that has just not quite been punished by Mantis consistently successfully, and I think that's down to Fnatic's control of intel. And information is always generally more driven by your attackers. You can obviously get intel ops, but the use of the drones and the play around has been the push. There's the clash, she's at the top of the stairs. You're probably not going to find your way through there for now, but you'll at least know that smoke's down there.
Yeah, so they are aware that the one person who seemed like it was potentially a roamer they had to deal with is actually not going to be a roamer, and now Shal and the Clash head into a bit of a staring contest here, knowing both of each other's locations. Just look at each other dead in the eyes, but, you know, there's nothing else the other can do because that shield is bulletproof, and Clash currently has no range of the Shal to make sure that CC starts working. So, for now, they just hold. But that does mean that Mantis is opening up. They're creating their rotations, they're creating their opportunities to quickly rotate from left to right or from a forward push to, for example, a vault push. Different opportunities that are being put up here.
Now Maverick is making their way through as the Selmas open up the other hatch. Going to do enough here where they can at least potentially get rid of the electric claw. Tex is looking for the fight though. He's going to see if he can shoot this Maverick upwards. It would be a huge kill to take, and that's why they're being so cautious about it. But he is so close to seeing the head and almost catches him on the slip away, and yet again a little bit of a disappearance of somebody, a defender, just spittily missing out on an attacker that wasn't quite aware. The Clash has been forced back, and that's the reason that that hatch gets open now, because they can't so aggressively hold onto blue. They're going to free themselves up some time, some space, and there's still a bit of an extension towards Garage. There's obviously still the Maestro Cams as well. The Jackal's going to see if he can cause any more problems, but hey, you know who that is, and she's over there.
Yeah, Alpha worried about a potential fault drop, of course, as the rest of Fnatic is ready for the potential push to come down from the actual service side. Static on the main stairs in a very good spot. Just one of these Fnatic members has to overstay the welcome, and it could be a free kill. Just that completely sows chaos into the hearts and minds of Fnatic as he just continues to creep on, checks the garage, picks up the kill there. That's going to be a bit of freedom, jumping from the window there, but I'm not sure if they quite heard it. No, that's going to be the diffuser dropped on the ground. Lusty managed to pick that up, tries to go for a second, but fails to do so with 15 seconds left. Now, Mantis needs to recover that diffuser.
They're going to go for the pickup, and you can see the Clash is doubled up with Tex, the one remaining player. The pings come out on the right-hand side. They don't quite get the connection, though, and suddenly Clash is entirely isolated, and a great first take. Sudden to the wire. The creep round the bottom of green led to the opening trade. It caused some confusion. Fnatic thought they had an idea on where everything was coming from, but with one little bit of a tricky surprise, and suddenly things started to fall away from them.
And he just picking up the player into the garage there, absolutely key, allowing the rest of the team to move through on the actual CCTV room. After that, trying to go for a quick swing onto the vault, but of course, just the jump out happening in that case, the diffuser being dropped, it almost went away to Fnatic, but Mantis able to hang on for now. Again, going on the attack. This time we are heading to Executive Lounge and CEO. The Clash is being swapped out and becomes an alibi. That means that we might see these Prismas play a small or a big role. Sometimes we do see kills being picked up from it, but what it normally is, you know, they start spraying the window, they hit it, then they have to stay put for just a little bit, because if you try and challenge the window whilst you are being spotted, you never know if Alphama or, for example, Tex or Stigs will try and swing you and pick up the kill and build the advantage for Fnatic.
I guess one of the things that we might need to see now from Fnatic's side is that a lot of their attacks were led by a great bit of play that drew some focus and attention away. It's something that became a bit of a conversation, as it always is when you have a player that can go big on the other side of the map, what are they doing? What's the explanation for them? Are they whatever? Are they baiting? Are they going for this push? Are they doing solo plays? No, I think it's always a firm part of a plan. Nobody is doing stuff accidentally on a push and on a take. And I think a great example of this is Mag, is the amount of times he was able to sort of clear his way up the lobby stairs and put some pressure on the opposite side. It drew focus away. We saw a little bit of a play of that on green in the previous round as well. It's an important role in the current meta of Siege, is to draw a bit of focus and pull some attention away. But it is strongest on attack. And that's the worry right now, is Mag did that quite a lot, to a lot of success on the defense. Are they going to find a suitable alternative when they find themselves truly exploring the map?
I have to say, I really like the setup that Fnatic is setting up here on Bank. It is quite long, but you're very exposed to just the B-bomb site here, which is currently being attacked by grenades from below, by Static. Because, as you can see, there is long lines of sight. You have the lines of sight and the castle barricade that blocks it off, which means that if you get an injure, it's going to be very hard to try and contest this attacks. It was just not cooked too well, but the ADS at least has been taken out.
I think that's the thing there. Nova was in a position where he's by himself, so he had to burn the ADS and then go for it. They didn't know a player was there. The important role that they were doing was getting rid of the mute jammers so they could open it up, but now there is a player stuck in the elevator. There is nowhere really he can go unless he gets somebody to open the hatch. He doesn't have the kit to get it himself. Oh, Harper takes care of Stiggs, puts a hole.
Just a second as well.
In a window, and well, now they're just going to wait and keep the Jaeger there. There's pings, and there's an idea, and here's another grenade going up to a man in a box, and they survive for now, but it's only a matter of time.
Oh, the hatch stay close. Okay, so I was going to say, that grenade might open up the hatch here for Tex to allow him to drop, but it did not, and that means that he's still stuck in there. We'll probably be aware, and probably will soon find out as well, that the hatch is still closed. That means a player must be inside of it. Just look at it, hyper-mobile setup here again. Just so many rotations on the Fnatic side, which they can use and try and run around. You never know if that's going to be working out. Shao now finding out, okay. Hatch still closed, one still inside of the elevator.
And that's it, that puts him in a tricky thing. He's hoping to bait the audio with the barbed wire. He's going to swing a little bit deeper so he can't get swung on that sharp and see if he can just take the fight. It's Harper that goes first, and, well, it's Child that gets the pickup. Suddenly another one, a Static falls, or at least causes a fall inside the site. Shial and Static both exceptionally injured. Mag tries to creep his way closer around onto the front desk with Alfama now stacked up. It was a long hold, as he pointed out, and
Diffuser's dropped.
Being punished. Yep, Diffuser's dropped, 20 seconds left. Alfama pulls his way back. He's going to go to a little bit of relative safety. They're so far away. So far away. They're not going to be able to get there and get it back in time. Alfama, he's just moving around on the other side. The calls are coming out. They've got the Diffuser. They're charging.
Envy might
Will
have time.
they make it? 2, 1. He's not
he
good.
just doesn't make it. Oh, he was so close there. The Jekyll scan, of course, giving them the opportunity to go for that run, and they're just looking at it, seeing if he will be in time. And Fnatic just there, seeing that final kill cam, realize as well how close that round was. That was almost the plan to be coming in, and then Alfama had to make his way all the way back up with the Jekyll scan giving away his final very moments. They won it nonetheless. That's the most important part. And Mantis now 4-4 still, but their attacks seem to be quite strong. They still managed to, well, find the advantage. It's just unfortunate that the Diffuser got dropped there.
I mean,
it's very unfortunate.
It won them.
Round deciding.
Yeah, it's a round deciding event. Unfortunate is almost an understatement. It was the intel of Alfama, run.
Run, Alfama, run. Again, this shot, beautiful. Just, okay, peek me once, peek me twice. I'm just going to pull the trigger in that case. Harper knew exactly what was going to be coming. Beautiful play. All right.
4-4.
Yeah, exactly. And we are heading towards the open area. Let's see if this will turn into a bit of a hypermobile side as well. Fnatic really like to set this up so they have that freedom of rotation. And it basically turns a defensive game in a bit of whack-a-mole, you can say, because they can pop up from literally everywhere. You have no clue what rotation they will take, what movements they will go for, especially onto a map which they haven't played that much. And it basically is a bit of the style of Fnatic, you can say. You see it every single time on Chalet. You start to see all aspects of it arise right now inside of Bank, where they just allow themselves to run to whichever room they want, through whichever wall they want, really. Very excited to see, but Stiggs actually taking a lot of damage from Static there.
Yeah, Static very quickly got up to the window that overlooks the big, grandiose entrance and put the pressure onto Stiggs, who now has an escape, most importantly. Has a way to drop down and get out of there if the pressure gets a little bit too hot, but when you're already that low, one more firefight and you're likely to be dropped, so you need a chance of escape. But you also need to do your job, and that's to waste as much time over here on the top as possible. Although the pings may be continual, there's always still the danger of more damage and destruction coming your way. Now, as Envy Taylor tries to find the way in via the windows, he's playing across the top, the pings come through, they know that there's a man and a player and a body inside there, sort of hoping that they would swing their way in, but with Fnatic finding the lockout, they had the angle, they had the drop, they have the first again.
See, I understand why he tried to stay there for as long as he possibly could, but he had a save rotation opportunity, and now he just got taken out very early on into the round. It will not have any impact whatsoever. Shao picks up a second kill of the round, and Tax now drops as well. And Vitaly with a lot of verticality here has the opportunity to completely lock off Towers and Archives. And soon we'll probably realize as well that there has been some rotations created inside this area as it continues to open up. Now, we'll be shortly giving out the call, most likely that the Tellers at least seem safe. Now continues the journey onto Archives and forces Mag back into the little office area.
Now the difference here, the buck that is allowing Envy Taylor to be able to move and open this up with a little bit more freedom. One of the quoted reasons for bringing the buck over the sledge, even in a situation like this, is the pace that you can not only apply towards opening up the floor and keeping a bit of a safe distance, but in changing between the gun and the skeleton key itself, trying to find and punish an attack. There's no quicker way than hitting it like that, and here they've been able to hit the top all over the board. Nova suffers, Alfama does too, but just wins out as they go for the drop round. They're setting themselves up on the window as they want to try and apply some pressure here, but there's also a body that's going for a deep roam underneath, trying to pull their way up green and set themselves for a bit of a stock take.
Oh, that is going to be Fnatic to pick up a kill from underneath on the hatch. It's going to be definitely sowing some fear into the minds of Fnatic. Alphaman now trying to go for that roam, trying to go for the hunt onto the player, Fnatic, who managed to pick up the kill. But I believe that they're going to be going in. Oh, they need to be quick. I believe there's a flank drone, though. Are they watching it? No! The first shots are being missed, but the diffuser is dropped again. They know he's inside of here now. 13 seconds left. The diffuser has been recovered. It's only up to Alphama. And he gets taken out by Envy Taylor by the hole he created earlier himself to try and challenge on this bottom square part. Great attempt from him. Unfortunately, not able to pick up both those kills because that would have been yet another round won by him.
Now I know that they had the sort of hot intel there and Envy Taylor leaning into the fight, even though it was a 2 versus 1.
Yep.
It's a decision that could go against you if you get an unlucky catch there, an unlucky swing, especially as he was sort of charging over there. It just took potentially a pre-fire, which we'd already seen him do, and that slug gun is a monster. It can absolutely capitalize on destruction. It didn't help though. Alfama was already quite injured. And Fnatic, they find themselves 1 round away from potentially going to OT or even worse. So they're going to have a moment to talk about it because, to be fair, the only round that they've taken so far was a clutch. It was
Alfama running for his life.
It was Alfama running for his life. It was Envy Taylor screaming his way back to home plate, but just sliding a little bit short.
Yeah, just too short. Almost managed to make it. I think an extra second was all he needed in that case.
Less than that, I think.
Half a second maybe even, because he literally just crossed the line as the timer hit 0, but wasn't quick enough to press that F button to start the plant. That puts us into this current situation. Otherwise, it would have been a 6-3 right now. And Locker CCTV about to come out. Fnatic decide to go back to it. The Thermite will be brought out instead of the Yana, the Legion to come in as well. That might actually help with stopping a push from the main stairs as a Gumite. Of course, that little audio cue could be enough to stop any push from the area to come through. Because that surely opened everything up. Just that single kill in the garage. Basically, the angle that you see next to Alfama in the wall, in the garage wall, that was what he was holding. He was holding the opportunity to see all the way into either red or inside of the servers. That is the angles you create with that. And if you take out that player, suddenly there's a lot of space that just opened up, especially if the rest is worried about a potential drop into the vault.
Well, Fnatic, they've had their team talk. They've had their time to try and, I guess, build themselves back into this just a little, see if they can get a bit of a control back, because although they were quite good at finding a sharpness to their attack, as I said, it's a bit tougher on your defense to carry their playstyle of their attack over, as it is for a lot of teams, but for what was driving them into the round wins here, it's punishing Mantis' mistakes based on good intel, based on good play, and based on, as I said, Mag being able to pull off these maneuvers on slightly separate parts of the map. You don't really get that freedom on your defense. You have to sort of wait for them to make their approach before you can really try and find your reproach to that. And that hasn't quite connected with them as of yet. But You never know what was on the conversation. You never know what we might lead to here. The Jackal.
Those are orange stabs.
About to creep their way around, and yeah, that's the spiciest kind of foot you can find.
Yeah, if you find orange, you know that there's at least one close. I believe he heard the drop though, so decides to call that it is indeed safe. Most likely will try and get the freshest of them to get the actual scan. That gives you one more ping onto the player that's now in open area and rotating down from the main stairs. It's the Jaeger, it is Tex, who is back on site now. The roamers have been taken care of. Just a player, of course, near the server stairs. All they need to do now is make sure that there's no other opportunity for them to come back up and just lock them off as it stands. Two players inside of the garage. Openings are heading into the vault area, and I believe that is Nova running over to... Where is Nova, actually? I thought it was Nova, but it was Envy Taylor to run in. Nova's actually still up on the top floor, so we'll have to make his way down to start opening up these hatches, whereas the Clash is still trying to go on a bit of an adventure.
That's it. What they were trying to do there with the play on the top floor, Fnatic, was waste a little bit more time, because last time we were here, it was scrappy. It was close, and it was only about 20 seconds left when everything really started to come to a head. So, if they could waste a little bit more time, if they could draw a little bit more focus, that's what Tex was doing on the top floor. That's what Alfan was trying to do now. He's making his presence a little bit more known and trying to say, look, come on, waste a bit of time with me. You wanna have a fight around pillars, Blue? Yeah. Let's do that. Let's keep her in awareness, and that puts them in a little bit of a different game, because if you recall, at this point, the Clash had already left, had slipped away, had gone for a different hold.
Harper's going to be dropping. Harper's going through the tunnel. Might be able to sneak up on the back of the Clash here. Who's still worrying about the blue area. No one else is currently checking into servers, so Harper might be able to pick up a kill here, and that allows them to actually start taking on the server side, but it needs to be quick. 30 seconds left on that clock. Nova ready to go for a potential drop, but they just need to find the Clash. That is it. Sure, the Jaeger is actually inside of red, inside of the gold vault, and that means he doesn't quite have to worry about that one as he now starts to push in. The cover is there, but the Clash is a true worry. You don't know where they're going to be coming from. The plant is down. 45 seconds onto the clock right now before Nova just barely lives through that. Aesthetic gets the first.
Nova being able to find that in and amongst the chaos there and leading to a sudden take. Unbelievable. The Mantis was able to make that connect there. All the bravery just dug in on the other side behind the smoke made it a very awkward approach because you couldn't quite get the take. The cover comes through, another for Static, one more.
Flawless.
And a flawless locks it out. They tried to pull focus, they tried to pull attention. Unfortunately, there's only one thing that Mantis have their focus on, and that is securing first place, top of the board for the third split.
They have the opportunity now to lock themselves in, or not lock, but at least put themselves into a better advantage. They have got 1 point. With that, they do overtake Guts already, who of course had a loss today. But if they do manage to pick up the full 3 points here today, that does mean that next week's matchup against them is suddenly a bit more easy. Yes, if you lose it, you lose the head-to-head. You're both on the same points, and it does come down to the very final day. But if you lose it in overtime, you still have that 1 extra point because you picked one up here today. And that is potentially going to be a difference maker. Mantis able to pick up at least 1 point and now looking to go for the full 3. That is going to be massive in the fight next week for the victory. And keep in mind, Mantis is currently the best hope for APAC North to go to the 6th Invitational. They need to qualify for the major. That is, I believe, a 40% assurance for them to make it to SI. If they do get third in their groups or better, it turns from an 85% up to 100%, depending on if they get out of groups or stay in third place.
2 chances here, Fnatic, to try and claw your way back into OT and to try and find some momentum, but with 3 attack rounds now slipping into the way of Mantis, and only one of them sort of going your way, and it was close. Well, you're still riding, but a lot of the wheels and the parts are starting to come off. You've got to see if you can put them back together and drive yourself at least to the OT line. How are you going to try and find something to stump Mantis? The team talks come through already, and it wasn't instantly successful, but you never really know. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time to burn. Sometimes it takes an idea to try, and then you're into plan B, and plan C might be the one that connects here. The approach is coming its way towards Kanto. Tex suffers a pop from Static, who has really been enjoying.
It's a warning shot, that is.
It's the one taps that he has been thriving in.
And for sure, a bit of a warning shot to come out to Tex, telling him to not try and go for the peek onto ATMs because his head will be taken clean off, and he continues to do so. Not a warning shot there to come through. Tex now on 25 HP. Knows that if he takes a single more shot from that ARX, he will be in the DBNO state. And they're trying to hunt him down after that. Grenades are about to be tossed in. The ADS just got wasted. Are they going to get it into the corner? No, that's just for the ADS to come through. Second one potentially to come out soon as well. As Tex is still allowed to live for now. And Alphama actually the first one to drop. It's Envy Taylor to pick up the kill. And it started off strong for Mantis here.
Shael is leading his way around on the back of the white stairs here to see if he can pull someone up towards the pressure of Styx, who has found a new place. There is the grenade catch. Nova gets Tex. They weren't able to make that connect before and had to go for the gun push, but yet again, we find ourselves in a bout of pressure. The spray goes towards that back line, that hold inside Janitors that has been a sticky removal previously, burning the ADSs on the close connection there. It's all clear, but
we jump in, I think.
There's nothing else that's there on the follow-up. Styx, quick reaction, sprays through, revealed by the alibi, but cut off by Shael, who pulls their way up to get Mag as the cross cover. There's Shael.
There he gets it
with
as well.
One more, somehow finds the fight. It's all down to Lusty, the step in, the stand in to keep them going. 4-1. Can the sub come off the bench for the round of their life? The pings are coming around the backside. Can't connect with it. Mantis find themselves the 3 points secure.
Oh, there goes Shael. Look at it. Left bottom of the screen.
Top of the board. Shael gets the mask.
Oh, which one he puts up today, but beautifully played by Mantis. Absolutely clinical onto their attacks, just dismantling Fnatic and not bringing them to Chalet has paid off. I said it before, are they saving Fnatic by banning out Chalet because it seemed to be a dying hill that we're